Okay, even though it's Saturday, we're gonna do a quick tutorial, you guys. I'm gonna use one of my favorites, these Kylie Shimmer Eye Glazes. I'm obsessed with them. And I like to use them on Saturdays because they're just kind of fun and really quick and easy to use. We're gonna start out a little wild today. I'm gonna grab my 𝗕𝗓𝗧𝗬 primer. This is the Hydrating Primer. It's a really, really small amount. And I'm gonna start underneath my eyes and then kind of just work it out from there. I'm already gonna grab my 𝗕𝗓𝗧𝗬 Tinted Moisturizer. This is in the shade 3C1 Fawn. And I'm just gonna put it on the back of my hand. I always like my products to warm up. They melt into the skin better and they actually even last longer. I'm gonna grab this stippling brush. I haven't used a stippling brush in how long? 100 years. So this is a MAC 188S. I'm just gonna pick up the smallest amount of the Tinted Moisturizer and I'm just gonna focus it right through here for right now. I really wanna make sure that our eyeshadow is just nice and blended and melted into our Tinted Moisturizer. So now I'm just gonna take the rest of the Tinted Moisturizer and just kind of buff it on the skin with this little stippling brush. And if I want just a little bit more coverage, I'll just grab a blender, but for right now, let's just work this into the skin. Look how pretty. So even though this is a tinted moisturizer, if you grab a sponge, a damp sponge, you can always just add a little bit more coverage. You see how we just got a little bit more coverage right there on our cheek? And remember, my sponge is damp. All right, we'll just let that sit for a second. We haven't done any concealer or any powder. It's okay to sit because it is so light, so it's not really gonna move or do anything. But what I am gonna do is I have my P. Louise shade number 2. I always use this one when I'm doing more, I don't wanna say natural, because we're still gonna be sparkly, but sparkly natural. So I'm gonna grab a completely dry blender, and we're just gonna work this all over the lid. So out here, all the way up to the brow bone. So if you're thinking that I use this palette too much, it's because every color in here is so right now and I can't stop using it. It's just, it has everything I want. I'm gonna just go into this shade right here, Long Money. It's one of my favorite shades from the palette. And I'm just gonna go ahead and tap this right into the crease. I'm gonna keep it pretty tight in the crease this time too. Pick up a little bit more and then we'll do on this side as well. Now I'm going to take this shade right here and I'm going to tap that one right above the darker pink. I'm always tapping. If you notice, I never, ever, ever just go back and forth. It really helps it blend better this way. Now I'm just going to take my finger and go into this beautiful shade right here. And this is going to go all over our lid. Now I'm going to grab just a little bit of my shimmer eye glaze in the shade Deep Sea Dreams, also Kylie Cosmetics, and we're going to pop this right in the center. These just give a really nice wet look. Look at that, look how pretty. These are legit my favorite. Now I'm just going to grab a little bit of this dark brown from the palette and a tiny little tapered brush, and we're just going to throw this on our lash line. Look how pigmented that is. It just covered that shimmer so perfectly. And I'm just going to smoke it out just a little bit and just on the outer corners. I'm going to add a little bit of mascara before I do my lashes. You guys know this is my ColourPop BFF mascara, code ROSE for a discount. You know I got to get my code in there. Hey, I'm proud of my ColourPop code. I worked hard for that. Do you see the difference? That's one coat of mascara. I'm telling y'all, that's why it's my favorite. The proof is right here. I am obsessed with these House of Lashes Siren Doubles right now. They're just so mermaidy and spiky and so pretty. I love them. You already know we're going to use our Kylie concealer. I'm going to use just a little bit today. I'm going to grab Himalaya just to correct any shadows with its peachy undertones. I always like to do it around the mouth. That looks good. Grabbing gypsum, and this is the one that I use to highlight and bring the features forward. I'm just going to use a very small amount since we just used tinted moisturizer today. There we go. Let's watch this blend and just correct all of those shadows. Look how pretty. Oh, it just gets me every time. It's the most skin-like concealer I have ever seen, but with lots of pigment still. Grabbing my Kylie Soft Pink powder, and I'm just going to grab my velour puff and dip it right in. And I'm going to press this underneath my eye, and you can just watch those shadows disappear. gonna grab my Huda Tantour in the shade Light and my Huda Contour brush. Sold separately, but it kind of goes together, if that makes sense. And we're just gonna bronze it up. Oh, she went wild right there. We can blend. Let's just make sure we kind of match it. And then under the nose, underneath here. And then we'll blend it out. And you can see how easily this blends out and how scary it looked, but then how beautiful it blends out. See? It looked like we were doomed, but now we're just bronzed and glowy. And I always blend upwards on my cheekbones. And one of the reasons I love the Tantour is it always has a little bit of red in it, and a natural tan will always have that. Gonna grab a little bit of my Juvia's Place powder. This is in the shade Sahara. It's my yellowy beige one that I use to shape right underneath that bronzer. I'm gonna let that sit. That's the only place we're gonna bake today. I'm gonna grab Insomniac Cream Gel Liner from ColourPop. And I'm just gonna do a really light coat. I just want like a pop of pink. Grabbing the Shimmer Eye Glaze, we're gonna make this our inner corner. Look how pretty. Grabbing my favorite mascara little baby wand I've ever seen in my life. This is the Hank & Henry Beauty Slick With It Duo. Code ROSE for a discount. The other end is a full-size mascara wand, but this end right here is just life-changing. I'm going to dust off my bake now, and I love this brush because not only does it dust it off, but it kind of works it back in. This is a Smith 130. I highly recommend this brush. And then I kind of take whatever's left and just go underneath my eyes, and I just make sure it's all worked in. I'm going to pile on a bunch of blush. This is my second favorite blush from Kylie. This is Kitten Baby. And I'm just going to hit it and then bring it all the way up this way. So I kind of tap here really heavily on the apples of my cheeks, and then I kind of just bring it upwards. Grabbing Kylie lip liner in the shade Coconut. I'm just going to do a little bit of a rough outline. Look at how much more pouty my lips already look. I love the Kylie lip liners. Grabbing Kylie lipstick in the shade August. We're just gonna kind of throw it on all wild like for a second. And then we're gonna pick up our lip liner again and kind of just trace the edges and blend all this together. Last but not least, I'm gonna grab Queen Drip, which is my favorite Kylie highlighter. And we're just going to, look at that, it's so pretty. I haven't worn highlighter in a minute.